Palestinians in Gaza's Rafah city are fleeing their shelters after receiving evacuation orders from the Israeli military. It is a sign that Israel could order an offensive into Rafah soon. The nation's defense minister has warned that the IDF must enter the city because Hamas is refusing a ceasefire deal. The order made earlier today told Palestinians in eastern parts of Rafah to move to a nearby, quote, humanitarian area. An Israeli broadcaster says evacuees would be directed to tent cities in nearby Khan Yunis and al-Mawasi. However, the Israeli military cautioned that Hamas was known to fire from these areas. Now, the IDF estimates around 100,000 people will need to evacuate from Rafah as part of plans to dismantle Hamas and keep people out of harm's way. Hamas warns that the evacuation order is a dangerous escalation that will have consequences. More than 1 million displaced Palestinians have been sheltering in Rafah since the war broke out last October. Israel has been threatening to launch incursions into Rafah, which it says harbours thousands of Hamas fighters and potentially dozens of hostages. Tel Aviv also saying the war will not be over without taking the city. Meanwhile, aid passing through the Kerem Shalom crossing has been stopped after 4 Israeli soldiers were killed following a rocket attack claimed by Hamas. It's one of the key crossings used to deliver humanitarian supplies into Gaza. Now, Sarah Coates is joining us live from Tel Aviv with lots more on that. Sarah, first of all, how will Israel's evacuation order of East Rafah complicate those aid deliveries to civilians there?
Hello there, Jill. We certainly can expect this to have an impact, given that many of these organisations really have been focusing on this Rafah area, where more than 1.3 million internally displaced Palestinians are sheltering in an area that up until recently was declared as a safe zone. Now, we did hear from UNRWA, which is the Palestinian Refugee Agency. It has come out to say that it simply will not be evacuating from Rafah and will basically carry on with its operations as normal, bringing food, bringing supplies to these people who so desperately need it. But certainly, Jill, it does appear as though this military operation has already begun. We've heard from a number of medics on the ground inside Gaza. They say that over the last 24 hours, airstrikes right over the enclave, including down into this southern area of Rafah, have killed at least 26 people. 11 of those are children. Now, we did hear from Hamas just a little while ago. It came out to say that this is a dangerous escalation and will have consequences, adding that this will not be a picnic for Israeli forces who do go down into that area of Rafah. Now, it's unclear as to when we can expect ground forces to begin moving in, although these people in the eastern part of Rafah, they're being told to get out now. The Israeli military dropping flyers on these areas, directing people to a number of places, as you mentioned, al-Mawasi down in the south, which is on the Mediterranean Sea, and also to Khan Yunis, which is a little further north. So really, these next few hours and next few days will be critical for these people trying to get out.
Critical also for ceasefire talks, reports saying that those discussions stalling following that Kerem Shalom attack by Hamas. How are negotiators, containing the situation, much less moving it forward?
We do understand that the CIA director, Bill Burns, he is right now in Doha. He's holding high-level talks with the Qataris, really trying to stop these ceasefire and hostage negotiations from falling over. But look, we've heard from a number of these key mediators, also from Hamas and Israel. Hamas has come out to say, this is from the Politburo chief, Ismail Haniyeh. He says that this is Netanyahu's fault for sabotaging these talks by basically saying we will go down into Rafah with or without a deal. We've also heard from Israel's foreign minister, Israel Katz. He says that Israel agreed to make some major concessions, but Hamas refused them. Now, This quote that we've heard from Ismail Haniyeh about Netanyahu sabotaging these talks, this is now being refuted by the Prime Minister's office. It says that this claim is a complete lie and a deliberate deception of the public. But certainly what we can expect over the coming hours are these mediators really trying to find a way to keep these talks from falling over completely.
All right, many thanks. Sarah Coates updating us from Tel Aviv.